Buonasera da Roma e buonasera
Good evening
dalla...
from Rome. Good evening from SIAGASCOT. Today is a very important day. This is the last episode in which I will be the editor of this wonderful TV channel. We have very important guests with us. Rocco Papalia, who's going to be with me here in the studio. And we have live with us very important professors Pietro Randelli, Giovanni Bonaspetti, and then we have two exceptional international guests, Guillermo Arce, the president of ESSKA, and Roland Becker, professor of ESSKA. So basically, two of the most important orthopedics society at the global level. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Guillermo and Roland for being with us today. It is very important for SIAGASCOT and for SIAGASCOT TV. Just 1 minute. I'd like to show you what happened very quickly during this year, during which I was the chairman. I started last March 2022, with the first annual meeting. We immediately started with the SIAGASCOT TV on April the 1st with very important international guests, Jacques Ménétré, Professor Loreda of SETRADE, the former chairman of ESSKA. In May, we organized another episode, and we had as a special guest Mark Gettelman from ANA and Guillermo Arce, who had just been appointed as chairman of ESSKA. Then, in June, other international guests, Ken Zaslav from the Orthobiological Committee and Laura Downs from the ANA. Then, in July, at the beginning of the summer, we have Professor Kuroda and Emilio Calvo. The first is the chairman of JOSCAS and Emilio is the president of SECEC. We were also honored to have with us as special guests Philippe Heuberer, Elisabetta Kohn, Francesco Allegra, Adel Hamad, and also the president of the magician, Sylvan, which was a nice opportunity to introduce what would have happened for the SIAGASCOT Day, which we celebrate in Rome on the 30th of September. Special guests were Massimo Berruto, Danny Lee, Ali Al-Suwaidi from Dubai, and Firas Al-Badoubi from Jordan. And then the SIOT, our mother society, made its meeting, and we had Professor Paolo Tranquilli Leali, the chairman of SIOT. Then we also had Mario Ronga, and as guests, Vincenzo Caiaffa, Alessio Giannetti, Rocco Papalia, and Alfredo Schiavone Panni, presidents or chairman of some of the most important orthopedic societies in Italy. Then, in December, before Christmas, we try to understand what SIAGASCOT is going to do in 2023. So again, we had as special guests Massimo Berruto, the past president. Then we had Lorenzo Moretti and other guests, Pietro Randelli, and also Gianluca Ciolli. And so here we are, Milan. Milan, for me, is a point of arrival. It's a turning point and also a point of departure for the next chairman, Giovanni Bonaspetti. Milan is the center of the attention for important national and international events. In Milan, there's going to be the next conference of SIAGASCOT in a few weeks, and then next year, the international conference of ESSKA. Guillermo Arce, the chairman of ESSKA, is with us and is actually, given the time difference in Argentina now, they are still working, and he's supposed to be in the operating room, but he has decided to be with us. And in a couple of months, we will meet in the United States of America for one of the most important events of the International Society, and I'm very happy to be a member of the International Society. Welcome, Guillermo. Welcome here.
Hi, Giovanni. Good morning, good evening for you, and thank you so much for the invitation. As you well know, we have a lot of Italian blood in our bodies, and so far we are still celebrating our soccer World Cup in Qatar. So everybody is having tons of fun and really celebrating this amazing achievement from Argentina. So from that, I would like to share with you some activities of ISACOS. The first one we will share with you, Giovanni, that we will share during the AAOS in Vegas. We will have a specialty day between AOSSM and ISACOS about knee and shoulder. So that will be a great event in Vegas, AAOS, next March. And then, as you said, we have a biannual meeting in Boston that we are waiting for to be very well attended. So far, we have 1,300 people already registered, and we will shooting for 3,000 people coming from 50 countries. We will have more than 60 symposia and 20 plus live surgical demo that perhaps we can agree with you, Giovanni, that the live surgical demos are quite important for the ISACOS Congress and for the international community.
Absolutely, I agree, and it's really an emotional opportunity today. Because actually we've not met for a number of years because of COVID-19. We stopped these international meetings, and if I remember well, also the meeting in South Africa could not be held. The last one was in Mexico, in Cancun, right?
Yes, you are absolutely right. The last one was in 2019 in Cancun. It's supposed to be 2021 in Cape Town. That's a great site selection. It's a place that we would like to visit in the future. But we skip that in person and we hold our meeting like ESSKA or any other meeting all around the world, only digital in 2021. And this one in 2023, June 18 to June 21st, will be a huge meeting in person, a lot of interaction and a very, very high scientific level and a very global perspective, as you mentioned, from ISACOS. We will have people all around the world. Regarding the faculties, they are from 47 countries. Therefore, the view and the knowledge and the friendship will be amazing in Boston next June.
You know also that we will meet in Milan as well, because you are one of the special guests that SIAGASCOT has detected at the international level. So we will be more than pleased to see you again in Milan in a few weeks, Guillermo. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've had the opportunity to follow you. I've known you for many years, and I've followed and appreciated your work also during your presidency of ISACOS, because I've seen that you have worked also from the teaching point of view. You went to many cities which were difficult to reach in order to strengthen the importance of training so that the surgeons throughout the world can have access to this knowledge. So thank you very much. And also thank you very much on behalf of SIAGASCOT. So thank you very much. We'll meet in Milan in a few weeks. So we'll, now you are free to go because I know that you have to go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you all. Looking forward to see you in Milano. That will be a great meeting too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And now, Roland Becker, another important member, the president, the chairman of ESSKA, is going to talk to us about ESSKA and also the next meeting of ESSKA, which is going to be held next year in Milan, organized by Pietro Randelli. Welcome, Roland. Welcome to Rome. Where are you now? Where are you? In which city are you now?
Welcome, Giovanni. First of all, thank you very much actually for the invitation. And I'm very happy to participate in SIAGASCOT TV in behalf of ESSKA. Yes, I'm working in Brandenburg. Actually, you might know the Brandenburg Gate, so it's quite close to Berlin. But I'm very pleased to use the opportunity to just to report some activities of ESSKA, what we have done and what we are doing until our big event, which will happen next year at the end of April, in collaboration, of course, with SIAGASCOT. Let me share the screen, and I can share a few slides with you. Okay. So what you've seen, basically, our 5 sections are the engine of our society, and EFA is the news section, which was opened 2 years ago, basically, because we saw there is some need, to look to the hip preservation, actually, and this is, I think, a very important issue, specifically in sport. One of our main activities are the consensus project, and I'm sure one or the other has already heard about this. And you see all the list of consensus, because that's a collaboration, and trying to link basic science, high level of evidence, and clinical practice of experts. So it means that we try to provide some information in these kind of consensus projects for doctors who are working in daily practice, that they have a kind of help how they make decision, or what kind of diagnostic or treatment option they should consider regarding these kind of pathologies. Let's say ACL revision, for instance. Vincenzo Condelli is involved in the ACL revision consensus. Osteotomy, meniscus lesion, tear, rehabilitation. We do an international consensus with AOSSM, actually. Patella instability, AC joint instability. And I also want to mention the orthobiologic initiative, which is chaired by Laura Di Girolamo. So there are a lot of Italian people involved in these activities. I think our really flagship for the moment is the ESSKA European Specialist Core Curriculum. And this is actually, we have developed over many, many years to identify what is actually essential, what is really important for orthopedic surgeon, what is very important. And in terms of these kind of core competencies, we have developed the European certification program, and this is validated, actually, and it's a modular format, meaning that the specialist encouraged to study one or more modules, so it's up to them. And it's an online part, which is a theoretical part for learning and for assessment as well. So we have prepared a lot of MCQs in order to examine, basically, the attendees. And I think the most important part is the in-person surgical skills training. And at the end, there will be another assessment as well. And finally, of course, they give the certificate of excellence. The first module started already in July 2022, last year. We had 24 participants. I mean, even 120 applicants, and from 11 nations. And the final course was actually in Watford, UK, in November 2022. And this was a big success. Our second ACL module will started already in 2022. Again, 24 participants, again, about 100 applications, 15 nations actually were chosen. And we will have the final skills training and assessment in Munich, Germany in March 2023. So then multi-ligaments will start at the end, or in February, just started. And we have always 24 participants, because that is how the whole setting of these kind of courses and modules. And this will finally start, and it will take place in Cologne in March 2023. And there are other modules waiting. So it will be meniscus starting in March, rotator cuff in June, ankle instability in June, osteotomy in August, and patellofemoral at the end of August. So if you want to get more information, please go on the ESSKA website, and you will, of course, get this information. Our next highlight will be the Specialty Day in 2020, this year in Warsaw, which we had to postpone, unfortunately, but hopefully, and keep fingers crossed, we can do this kind of Specialty Day 24th, 25th of November. So put it in your agenda. And, these are the days for the specialties of our society, because it will be shoulder. We have the controversy around the rotator cuff, for instance. Another topic will be optimizing healing in rotator cuff repair. graft will be in topic. Then we have ECA, the European Knee Associates. They will talk about artificial intelligence in knee surgery, advances or advancement in arthroplasty. Of course, osteotomy will be involved in 2 sessions as well. We have ESMA and we have EFA, which they both together will tackle the topic about groin injury and groin pain. I think it's always very important, interesting in athletes. And of course, ankle, they will cover instability. So there are many topics, but very focused, very specific. And I think that's a huge difference in regard to our biannual Congress, which will held in 2024 in Milan. And with Professor Pietro Randelli, we started in summer to work really very hard to get a good program. And we are actually on a weekly basis in exchange. And this will be 3 days, 3 full days of, I hope, high level classic scientific and education content. And we will have 10 highlight speakers. You see, with Stefano Savanini, for instance, with Elzevira Cohn. So we have Italian people, of course, involved. And we have David Tijur, Pierre Holmisch, Pierre Rabrat, Kuroda, and Jon Carlson involved as well. We have 15 keynote speakers. I don't want to mention all these names, but I think important, they are planned 32 instructional courses, 65 symposia, 216 scientific free paper instruction, and 600 scientific poster presentation. So I think that is a huge amount of scientific content which will be prepared for you in Italy, and we are very, very happy to do this in collaboration with SIAGASCOT. It's an ESSKA Congress, but it should always have an Italian flair, of course.
Grazie, Roland.
Thank you, Roland. I think that you and Guillermo are the most important representatives of ISACOS, and ESSKA has given us an example of how science, technology, culture has evolved over the past few years. So thank you very much for giving so many young people throughout the world the possibility to grow from the professional point of view, which, as I said before, is exactly the goal, the most important goal of these international societies. Rocco, any questions? Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Becker whether only specialists can participate or also people who are attending the last few years of training. This is the first question. And the second question, what type of professional maturity must have the surgeon taking part in these courses?
You mean, yeah, I mean, you know, they should be experienced when we're talking about these kind of courses, because we want to evaluate these competencies. And I think that is something very nice, because at the same time, when they get an assessment by experts, you know, ESSKA experts, they will learn. And it's an interactive program. And this is something I think so far very, very unique, which hasn't actually started any other societies. But we thought it's not only paying attention to like residents and junior doctors, and therefore we developed a core curriculum. No, we have to say pay attention to specialists, because they maybe want to develop further as well in their special field. And for that reason, we thought it's very important to have an opportunity and a platform for these people who are already specialized and they want to continue. And coming back to the Congress, actually, it's, you know, the Congress is not only for specialists, of course. I mean, residents at their doing their training, I mean, they always pick up things. I mean, it depends from the level of your training, of course, but even if you don't understand everything in detail, the good thing is going to a Congress, and I want to really encourage everybody is, you know, it's a great way to start having network. You're meeting people, you know, you meet new people. You may discuss medical topics and orthopedics and sports medicine, because that's the field of interest of all people who will come to Milan in 2024. And I really want to encourage young people to join and to attend the Congress. Your meeting in a few weeks, basically, but also our meeting in 1 year time.
Roland,
in this period of your chairmanship, what is the most important target, the one that you believe that is the most important during your period as chairman? What is the added value you want to give to ESSKA during your chairmanship?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I thought a lot about this. I think our core curriculum program, this is something which we really emphasize on, and we do it basically in a 4-year term now. We have changed this a little bit due to COVID as well, to have strategy meetings when the new president starts, and then the goals. I think my goal is really I want to collaborate. I mean, Europe is so diverse, but it's great to collaborate. And I think in the diversity in Europe, I see a huge strength of Europe. But we have to collaborate. We have to work together, because if you have meetings, conferences like will held in Milan next year, that's a great way to exchange ideas. And when you talk to people from Scandinavia, for instance, I mean, they do sometimes things different than maybe people from south of Europe, and it's very, very interesting. And I did a survey actually 2 years ago where I asked people about training, and the training of our residents. There is so much difference between our countries. I was so surprised. And that's maybe a good way to start harmonizing and having strong collaboration. I think at the end, we will get a profit out of it. I think all societies in Europe will get a profit out of it.
Roland, io ti ringrazio.
Thank you very much, Roland. Thank you very much on behalf of all the members, on behalf of SIAGASCOT, for your presence here today. And so we'll meet very soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Roland.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. E rimaniamo sempre focalizzati su Milano.
So let's focus on Milan. Professor Pietro Randelli. Pietro, are you with us? Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me all right? Yes, we can hear you. All right. Pietro, you are the promoter of this concentration of culture in Milan. And in a few weeks, we'll have the opportunity to meet again in Milan during the second national conference. Can you give us some updates? Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the board of directors of SIAGASCOT for betting on Milan. We're going to have two very important events. Speaking about the SIAGASCOT Congress, it is an honor to have you all in Milan. In Milan, we're going to have representatives from the whole country coming to Milan, but there will be the whole world in Milan. Just think, we will have 30 international speakers. All the chairpersons of the international societies will be in Milan. ISACOS, ESSKA, but not only them. The ICRS, the Cartilage Society. Then we're going to have, what else? AOSSM, American Society of Sports Medicine, the president of ANNA. So we will have very high-level international experts who are going to share with us the top knowledge of science. Just to give you an idea of the numbers, among the 30 international speakers, we will have 100 hours of lectures, which is enormous, in 3 days, 100 hours. We will have 140 free presentations from young doctors who want to share their contribution with the society. And there will be a room in which, during the whole day, there will be company workshops. So it will be possible to see the novelties, what's new from the technical point of view, and all that can help us in our life in the operating room, in the ER, in the operating room. And then some highlights. I'd like to mention one. We're going to give an award, a grant, in the honor of Angelo Graceffa, a colleague who passed away last summer, whom we all loved. And so it's going to be a very special moment. And then we're going to have a lecture from the chairman of SIAGASCOT, which is a tradition, the lecture from the chairman before the meeting of the members' meeting. And during the members' meeting, this will be a very important moment for our activity, for the activity of our society. And we're going to talk about the idea of the future according to the board. We're going to talk about the events, all the activities, the enormous work done by the SIAGASCOT board under the chairmanship of Giovanni Di Giacomo and what the society will do in the future. I hope I've not bored you too much, but of course I'm more than available to answer your questions. This is what we're going to do in Milan in 2023. I have a question, Pietro. As chairman, together with Enrico Arnaldi, from the scientific point of view, is there anything special, any specific topic? Is it going to be a standard conference or how have you organized it? Well, on one hand, our willingness was to have the whole international scientific world present in Milan. And so, of course, we have decided to invite many international guests. And also, we have focused on infections. One of the lectures will be by Java Pardizzi in Philadelphia. He organizes this consensus conference on infections, which is about the history of infections over the past 10 years. So he will join us. He will be focusing his presentation on infections. This is going to be very important. And then in one of the 4 rooms, there will be instructional courses. So the idea is that it's going to be a conference for young people, where young people can meet the most important names in order to improve their everyday practice. Very good. Thank you. Rocco, any questions? Yes, I have a question for you, Professor Randelli. Any awards for young people, for young doctors? Yes, actually, as you know, there are institutional awards, the Lamberto Verugia Award, Mario Randelli Award, and these are the awards which will give our youth more motivation to continue their career from the scientific point of view. Unfortunately, many people just simply stop. They learn surgical techniques, but they do not develop a very important part of our profession, that is research. And to actually see our dreams come true in order to promote the future of medicine. Thank you very much. Very interesting. I totally share what you just said. Research and the possibility, the willingness and the enthusiasm to be a researcher is an added value. Thank you very much. So we'll meet in a few days in Milan. Thank you very much for your updates. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. And now, one of the targets we have reached as the executive committee under my chairmanship, under my presidency, was to reactivate joins. And we have decided to entrust this to Professor Rocco Papalia. Rocco, first and foremost, thank you very much on behalf of the Society for this commitment. It's an enormous commitment, but we strongly believed that given the past, your past, you were the perfect person to do that. So thank you very much on my personal behalf, and thank you very much on behalf of the Society. What are the projects? First of all, I'd like to thank the board of SIAGASCOT and Professor Giovanni Di Giacomo for giving me this enormous opportunity. It is really an honor for me. Joins is a very important journal. We all love Joins. As a journal, it is a journal we have always believed in. And as a matter of fact, we can see the enormous quality. And I would also like to thank Professor Milano, who had already worked so that joints could be indexed on PubMed. We have to start again, but over the next few months, we will have to work quite a lot, of course. We have a very good board, which sees the representation of many members of SIAGASCOT, many international researchers, and I would also like to thank the international researchers and participants for giving their consensus to take part, to be members of the editorial board. Davide Giur, Christian Samuelson, Emilio Lopez Riviero, and many other eminent personalities of our society who will be part of the editorial board. And I will work by Dr. I will work with Dr. Zampogna and the editor-in-chief, Professors Ronga and Randelli. We are working very hard. We are working meticulously in order to see or read all the papers that have been sent to the journal. Of course, we need to review them. There is quite a lot of work to do, and we are working on a daily basis. Verducci is actually helping us, and I'd like to thank them very much for that. And we have to start again with high-level articles and papers. So I'd like to invite you all from the society to please send your articles, also regional articles, to our journal, systematic reviews, meta-analysis, so papers that can be cited, quoted, in order to give a good index to our journal. Index on PubMed is the first objective, but we're also confident to have an impact factor in a very short time. We are really motivated to do that, and I have to say that there has been much attention by everybody, much cooperation by many people. Everybody is happy to take part in the next few steps of this journal. There will be some new things over the next few weeks. We'll give you more details about how to write articles on this journal, and also at the same time we're also trying to organize a competition for the best arthroscopic surgery photographs, which can be printed on the journal over the next few editions. So again, I'd like to thank SIAGASCOT for giving me this possibility, this opportunity, and I'd like you all to help us. One more thing, the next reviews will be very quick, and in a couple of weeks we will send our answer to the author. This will be one of the characteristics of the journal. Thank you very much also for your enthusiasm, and I'm sure everybody understood how enthusiastic you are. We cannot conclude without giving the floor to Francesco Uboldi. Where are you, Francesco? Where are you? Good evening, everybody. I'm in Milan tonight, which is my home, but I'm going to be here until next year because there are so many conferences, so I wanted to remain in Milan. Thank you very much, and I'd like to start by showing you this traditional almanac. So the first piece of news, fellowship. The deadline is the 19th of February. You can start with the SIAGASCOT, and you can travel EAF, Dutch countries, German countries with Dutch, and then there is a new fellowship, the AEA with Spain, and there are some seats available for the Forte Summer School, which is going to be held in Greece this year. So I'd like to recommend to everybody to subscribe, register, because there are still seats available. And even if we have received many registrations and subscriptions. So take advantage of these incredible opportunities. Future events, not too many from now to the Congress. We have on the 23rd and 24th of March, we have the SETRADE Congress in La Coruña, and then in Milan, again in Rozzano, close to Milan, the SMILE 2023 Congress on revision, shoulder surgery revision. So, Milan and La Coruña. And then, online meetings. We have the end of the Hip Preservation School, the last conference, which is going to be a cadaver lab in Verona, northern Italy, on March the 4th. So, Pannaci and Santori are looking forward to meeting you. So training comes to the end, road to Milan. We are in Milan now. And so at the end of March, you will find all the recordings of the webinar. They're not available as yet, but starting from next March, you can have access to all the recordings of the webinars. So we look forward to meeting you from the 13th to the 15th of April in Milan. From now on, the timetable is online, so you can program your participation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Francesco, and I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you for all you have done during my presidency in order to promote communication and for your attention to communication. Thank you. So let's conclude this session. Giovanni Bonaspetti, can you hear us? I know that you are quite far from here. I hope your line is acceptable. Giovanni Bonaspetti, can you hear me? We had a connection with the deputy chairman, who is not in Italy at the moment, is in Africa actually. And so it is quite likely that there might be some line problems. No, there are difficulties apparently, so we cannot talk to Giovanni Bonaspetti. But anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for following us and also for bearing with me for a whole year. I'd like to thank Rocco Papalia for helping me in the last edition of this TV program. Thank you very much. Goodbye from Giovanni Di Giacomo. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye bye.